Hi everyone and welcome back to the Virtual Pub Quiz channel. Now I know what you're thinking, you're sat there going, what are you doing here? It's not Thursday, it's not Friday, not Saturday, it's not a live quiz night. No, it's fine, don't panic. I'm not Stephen Fry, he will be here shortly. But with it being the Virtual Pub Quiz channel, I wanted to pop in and introduce Stephen and myself and just go through a few bits and then also make sure that everything's left exactly where I put it before Stephen takes over. Thank you very much for joining us for one of the first of the Alzheimer's Research UK takeovers. They'll be with us for the next couple of weeks and they're just going to continue to raise money for Alzheimer's Research UK, and just basically on the back of what you guys did last Thursday night, which was absolutely incredible. They raised over £200,000 for Alzheimer's Research UK, and a massive thanks obviously goes to Mattioli Woods, who increased their match funding on the night, and £50,000 went from them. So a massive thanks to them. And yeah, so I've seen a sneak preview of the quiz. I get to put my feet up tonight. I'm not presenting it. I've not written it. It's great. I can relax. I can join in with you all and let you know how I got on. So I'm quite looking forward to this. Stephen's waiting in the wings. Alzheimer's Research UK have made it a little bit easier for you tonight to donate. The link, as always, if I get this right, there. So the link will be there for the Just Giving channel, Just Giving page, as it was on the Thursday night when we did the big quiz. But there will also, and I'm waiting for it to scroll around, but it's not going to come around. There you go, knew the timing would be right. So they've also set up a text to donate as well. So all the terms and conditions and everything will be on screen all the way through the quiz. So yeah, there's not really a lot left for me to say. 30 questions tonight from Stephen, and he will be with you. There's a few videos as well to show exactly what it meant, what Alzheimer's Research UK are doing, and there's a lovely video in the middle of the questions and the answers tonight, and that's come from you guys, from the community. Some of the stories that were shared with regards to sort of how Alzheimer's how Alzheimer's and dementia has affected people. And some of the stories were absolutely lovely to share. So Alzheimer's Research, I think, got in contact with you guys to see if it was okay to use, and they've put together a lovely film in the break. And yeah, so I will come back a bit later on. I'm just going to make sure that the kettle and the toaster are still where I left them. I fancy a brew and a bit of toast when I come back. But for now, I'll leave you with a short video, and then Mr. Stephen Fry. See you soon.
A couple of times we've been accused that mum doesn't have stereocortical atrophy, a form of Alzheimer's where it is the back of the brain which affects vision and motor skills. If the symptoms and the signs are there in your 40s, then they're there. Within the first year of mum's diagnosis, she didn't know what day, month, week, year it was. She lost the ability to read, write and draw very, very early on. They were the three things she loved the most in life. Mum was a fine artist, and for those things to be taken very early, it's tragic for mum. And the more funds we can put into research, the sooner we can find a cure for it. You know that eventually we will get there. I just hope more people look into it a little bit more and really think about how further research could really help stop this happening to other families.
You might typically think of a dementia as being in very old people and with memory loss through and through. And that is true for Alzheimer's disease. But frontotemporal dementia is different. It's not the whole brain that's affected. When the frontal lobe is damaged, it changes personality and behaviour. And when the temporal lobe is damaged, it changes understanding and words and language. There are many thousands of people with frontotemporal dementia. It's the commonest of the young onset dementias, and for most people it occurs out of the blue. I'd love to restore the delicate balance of chemistry in the brain, and if you get it right, you can make a huge difference to the quality of life with dementia. I think there's a cure in sight, but like getting to the moon, to get there is going to take a massive and sustained effort from a very big international team of researchers and investment. But it is in sight.
Right, hair, makeup. Glasses. Hello, everyone. Firstly, welcome back to the old-timers who joined me last Thursday for our quiz in support of Alzheimer's Research UK. And hello to all you new arrivals. Anyone joining us for the first time, you are so welcome. This evening we are taking over Jay's YouTube channel to raise even more money for this worthy cause. Jay, I promise to leave everything just as it was when we depart, but thank you for your hospitality. It's hugely appreciated. And thanks to you, to Jay, and to everybody who supported this venture, the virtual pub quiz community, if you like. An incredible amount has been raised for Alzheimer's Research UK so far. But let's see if we can raise even more tonight, because the charity needs our help so much more than ever, because of the COVID-19 crisis, of course. In fact, it's predicting a drop in income by as much as 45%. So any help we can give is so welcome. There are a couple of easy ways you can donate this evening. You can visit the link on screen or in the stream description. You'll find it there as well. Or you can make a text donation from your mobile phone by texting quiz10 to 70607. 70607 to donate £10. Donation information and terms and conditions will be on your screen throughout, so please donate if you can. But let's delay no more. Let's get on with this quiz, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Round one is huge groan coming geography, and a huge cheer from others who love geography. Question number one. Which country in the world has the longest coastline? Which country? To quote the ever-great Richard Osman, I suppose we mean by that any UN sovereign state has the longest coastline. You have a think about that. Wonder which it is. Let me think. Longest coastline. I once went on a boat in Lake Powell in Arizona, and wow, that was amazing. That was about 1,600 miles of shoreline in that lake. Incredible, isn't it? That's not a clue. I don't know what the answer to question one is. But anyway, that's 20 seconds. I think you've had enough time to consider, so we can move to question two. One of the 7 wonders of the ancient world was the Hanging Gardens of where? That's a question. It's not a statement. I'm not saying that they were in Hertfordshire, where there is a town called Ware. I'm saying they were the Hanging Gardens of where? Question mark. Oh, I should do that backwards. Oh, God. Don't have the transformation geometry to do it. That's question mark from my point of view, so that's it from your point of view, yes. The Hanging Gardens of where is question 2. Okay. It's going well so far, isn't it? 2 questions in and no crises yet. Question 3. Which European city is split by the River Danube? Which European city is split by the Danube? Is question 3. Okay. Interesting. I think I know the answer to this one, and I've been there. That's all I'm saying. I hope that isn't a clue. I don't think it is. Which European city is split by the Danube? Question 3. Question 4. In which UK city would you find the Bullring? In which UK city would you find the Bullring? Again, I think I've been there. Yeah, reckon I have, but I'm not giving any clues. It's been quite a week, hasn't it, in terms of weather. It got pretty hot on Wednesday. Certainly in my neck of the woods. Up in old money, up in the 80s. Yeah, how about that? So that was question 4. Question 5. What is the world's most densely populated capital city? Which is the world's most densely populated capital city? I said populated. Which is the world's most densely populated capital city? Those plosives, eh? Can you see my my fluffy, by the way? There it is. Woo! Isn't that good? There we are. That's taking my voice. It's a shotgun mic, they call it. Okay, question number 6. Which country was formerly known as Siam? S-I-A-M. Which country was formerly known as Siam? It's a shame that question doesn't have the word population in it. Which country formerly known as Siam? Okay. Give you 5 more seconds on that one. Good. And we're coming up now to question 7. The inhabitants of Pitcairn Island in the South Pacific are mostly descended from mutineers on which famous 18th century Royal Navy ship? I'll repeat that question. The inhabitants of Pitcairn Island in the South Pacific are mostly descended from mutineers from which famous 18th century Royal Naval ship? Okay, expect you know that one. Very good. Now we come to question 8. In which UK county would you find the geological formation Durdle Door? D-U-R-D-L-E. Durdle, like hurdle, but beginning with a D. So in which UK county would you find Durdle Door, the geological formation? I've actually filmed there. I think it was a film, Wilde. I played Oscar Wilde, and I had a picnic with my wife and children, wife played by Jennifer Ely, down on the beach in Durdle Door. It was rather lovely. And Gemma Parfitt, I think, was in the scene as well. Yes, she playing Bosie's mother, I think I'm right. Goodness me, a long time ago, before any of you were born, when all round here was green fields. Well, it still is, actually. Yes. Oh. Okay, question 9. Sorry. In which US state would you find the Everglades? In which US state would you find the Everglades? Well, I know that because I've been to every US state. Very lucky in that regard. Talking of which, if you go to my Twitter, you will see that my book on going around America, I did an audiobook of it just before the lockdown. I finished the audiobook, which is a long time after the series and the book. But if you want a companion for your morning walks or your afternoon strolls, you can do all 50 states. You could do 2 states a day, say, on your walk, and I will accompany you and show you around America as you walk. So, but if you go to SoundCloud, you'll get the introduction and one of the states, Massachusetts, for free. Shouldn't be using this to advertise my book, but you might find it interesting. That was question 9. Which US state would you find the Everglades? Stephen, you are such a whore. 10. In what year were worldwide flights disrupted by Icelandic volcanic eruptions? Glad I don't have to say the name of the volcano because I remember it, and I remember it was quite a difficult name to get out. So what was the year? I'm sure you remember that, the famous ash cloud, wasn't it? And what was the year that the worldwide flights were disrupted by that volcano, by those volcanoes in Iceland? Can you remember? Yes, I can. But what year was it? What was I doing? Where was I? Yes, I think I know. Okay. There we are. That's 10 questions on geography. I hope you did well, and I hope you're ready to move on now to round 2, which is entertainment. Best of luck, everybody. Entertainment. Question 1. Which Hollywood actress starred in Walk the Line, Wild, and Water for Elephants? Now, I'm spelling wild, W-I-L-D. There's no E on the end. It's not the Wild that I was in. Hollywood actress, Walk the Line, Wild, Water for Elephants. Any thoughts? Very good. Now, reckon we're ready for question 2. Which recent Netflix documentary follows Joe Exotic and his fellow big cat owners? What's the name of the Netflix documentary following Joe Exotic and his fellow big cat owners? Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Oh, Stephen, I've got a little thing in my eye. Sorry. So, have you written down the title of the Netflix documentary? I'm sure you have. Maybe you've seen it, maybe you've heard of it, because it certainly has been the talk of the world. Question 3. Which One Direction member's second solo album is entitled Fine Line? So, a member of One Direction, second album, I think I could say his, I think we all know One Direction is a boy band. So, his second album is entitled Fine Line. What's his name? Which One Direction member? Good luck with that. We come to question 4. The TV adaptation of which 2018 novel by Irish author Sally Rooney recently contributed to BBC iPlayer's best ever week for streaming requests? So a big hit, and it's recent, a TV adaptation of a 2018 novel by Irish writer Sally Rooney. And it's broken BBC iPlayer's record for the most streams that week, the most streaming requests over the past few weeks, certainly. What's the name of that series? That's all we need to know. Okay, question 5. Which singer's second album is the 4th best-selling album of all time in the UK? Crumbs. Which singer's second album is the 4th best-selling album of all time in these United Kingdoms? This United Kingdom. I'm afraid I don't know I wouldn't know. I'm hopeless at that sort of thing. I could, one guesses there are a couple of names, aren't there? But there could be more. What do I know? Anyway, it's a singer. Second album. Their second album is the 4th best-selling album of all time in the UK. Okay. Question 6. For which film did Leonardo DiCaprio finally win the Academy Award for Best Actor? It was in 2016. What was the name of the film for which Leonardo DiCaprio finally won an Academy Award, an Oscar, for Best Actor? It was in the year 2016. Remember the name of the film? Excellent. Oh dear, sorry, it's all happening. What's going on in my gullet? Question 7. Which television presenter recently announced her departure from ITV2's Celebrity Juice? A TV presenter recently announced her departure. Well, there's a clue that might get rid of a certain percentage of options. Her departure from ITV2's Celebrity Juice. Good luck with that one. Okay. Question 8. In 2019, Ed Sheeran's Divide tour became the highest grossing tour of all time. Who did he knock off the top spot? Ed Sheeran in 2019 broke the record for the highest grossing tour of all time. Who had previously held that record? Whom did he knock off that spot? Interesting. Who or what, I guess. Was it an individual or a band? It could be either. Okay, if you've had to think about that, it's time to move on to question 9. Fleabag creator Phoebe Waller-Bridge was head writer and executive producer for the first series of which BBC America thriller? Let's take that apart slowly. I'm sure you've probably got it, but Fleabag creator, the great Phoebe Waller-Bridge. She was also the chief writer and executive producer for the first series of a thriller produced by BBC America, co-produced by BBC America. See if you know the answer to that. Sure you do. Okay. Last question of this particular round. 10. Which director used his so-called bomb theory or bomb under the table method for storytelling in order to build suspense in his films? So there's a director who had what's known as the bomb theory or the bomb under the table method, and he used that to build suspense. It's a metaphor that he used to describe how to build tension in his movies. Who was that director? I'll give you 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that is the end of round 2 entertainment. So it's now round 3, and this category is general knowledge, or as the Jaster likes to call it, gibberal knowledge for some reason. Okay, all right. Question number 1. Which University of Cambridge alumnus set forth the idea that gravity was a predictable force? Which alumnus of the University of Cambridge set forth the idea that gravity was a predictable force? Okay, very good. Number 2. What's the name of the green pigment in plants that absorbs light to provide energy for photosynthesis? What's the name of that green stuff, that green pigment in plants that absorbs light to provide energy for photosynthesis? I expect you can remember your biology lessons, can't you? There we are. Be interested to see how you spell the answer. Question 3. Who created the fantasy world Narnia? That's a simple, short question. It's probably the shortest question we've had, isn't it? Who created the fantasy world Narnia? Narnia. I'm sure you knew that. Okay, is it time for question 4? I think it is. The name of which type of pasta translates as butterflies? What kind of pasta has a name that translates as butterflies? It's one of those ones, isn't it? If you know, you're just instantly going, ha! Typing it in. If you don't, you're thinking, which one could it be? I'm not giving too much away. If I say it's Italian, it's pasta. It's an Italian word for butterflies. So good luck with that. Okay, 5. Which well-known dance originated in Argentina and Uruguay? Don't pronounce them like that, Stephen, you arse. Sorry. Which well-known dance originated in Argentina and Uruguay? Well, there's so many South American dances, one would think. I wonder which one it is. I expect you know. Well-known dance originating in Argentina and Uruguay. All right. I'm not going to do it for you. Number 6. Which English naturalist travelled to the Galapagos Islands on the HMS Beagle? Which English naturalist travelled to the Galapagos Islands on the ship Beagle, on Her Majesty's ship Beagle? Her Majesty's ship Snoopy. No, it's not Snoopy. That's just silliness. It was called Beagle. What was the name of the English naturalist? Question 7. Question 7. What does BMW stand for? And you can't put no nonsense. What does BMW stand for? BMW, the motor car. Stands for something, but what? Good luck with that. That's question 7, BMW. Question 8. Name the year in which the United States of America joined the Second World War. There you are. That's a simple answer. It's either right or wrong, and it'll come out as a number. The year in which the USA joined World War II. See if you can remember that. Okay. Again, I'll give you a little more time to think. None of you will remember it, I suspect. But good luck all the same. Okay, question 9. Coffee beans are the pit of a red or purple fruit, but the fruit is usually referred to as in the same way that it's called a coffee bean, the fruit is called a coffee what? How is the fruit described? What sort of fruit is it given the name for? If that makes sense. So you've got coffee beans, which are the pit of a red or purple fruit, but what is that fruit usually called? What do coffee growers call it? In English, at least. Okay. You've had to think of that. Give you another 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Question 10. Which former First Lady of the United States autobiography is entitled Becoming? A former First Lady of the USA, a FLOTUS, as I believe they call them now, FLOTUS, a FLOTUS, First Lady of the US. She wrote an autobiography and it was called Becoming. And all we need is her name. Well, that's the first 3 runs. But before we move on to the answers, I'd just like to introduce a short video that highlights why Alzheimer's Research UK is such an important charity. Again, if you can make a donation to the charity tonight, please do. Okay. So, here it is.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, and this is my dad, Stephen. My dad has been living with Parkinson's and dementia for the better part of 3 years, and recently he had a brain scan that showed about half of his brain had died, meaning he was in the late stages of dementia. He's always been one of the most intelligent people I've ever met. Dementia or not, our shared family love of pub quizzes has always brought us together. So we jumped at the opportunity to be a part of the virtual quiz. We first joined in with the quiz when Stephen Fry guest presented, as he's one of my role models and we all love him. It was so encouraging for someone as loved and amazing as Stephen Fry to use his voice for people like my dad who find daily life so difficult. It meant so much to us that night that so many people donated money for Alzheimer's Research UK, as it meant people like my dad have hope for the future. The more funds that can be raised, the more we can know about this devastating disease and the hold it takes on people. So, from the bottom of all of our hearts, thank you so much for all of your generous donations, and to Alzheimer's Research UK for their continued hard work.
Big thank you to Stephanie and her family in Cambridgeshire for sharing their very touching story, and everyone who has shared stories, pictures and experiences. It's incredibly brave. You're all helping to raise valuable awareness. Now, if you need a bit more time, please feel free to pause. Otherwise, we're going to move on and start with the answers to round 1. All right? That was question 1. It was geography, you remember. Question 1 was which country has the longest coastline, and the answer to that was Canada. Good old Canada. 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 So 2, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world was the Hanging Gardens of where? It was the Hanging Gardens of... The answer is Babylon. Babylon. Okay, got that? Babylon. And question 3, the European city split by the Danube, Budapest, into 2 towns or 2 cities, Buda and Pest. Budapest, split by the Danube. In which UK city would you find the Bullring? I'm sure many of you knew that the answer to that was Birmingham, the lovely city of Birmingham. And it is a lovely city. I had a great time there a few months ago, walking the canals when I was doing a show there. I was just blown away by those canals. Anyway, what is the world's most densely populated capital city, or which? Than what? And the answer of the most densely populated capital city is Beijing. Beijing, of course. Well, I say of course, who knows. That's the most people crammed into the least space, I guess, is what is meant by densely populated. Number 6, which country was formerly known as Siam? That was Thailand. Thais were formerly Siamese. Thailand. Question 7. The inhabitants of the Pitcairn Island in the southern seas were, of course, descended from the mutiny on the Bounty mutineers, Fletcher Christian and all of those. So that was the answer. HMS Bounty, or the Bounty would have done, of course. Moist, tender coconut in thick chocolate. Number 8. In which UK county would you find the geological formation Durdle Door? And that is Dorset. Durdle Door, Dorset. Beautiful. It's like a sort of ring bridge. Lovely formation. Number 9. In which US state would you find the Everglades? And the answer to that is Florida. Florida. Now there's that huge flat waterlands, and they use those kind of, what do they call them? Those air hovercraft, kind of with huge aircraft engines making a heck of a din. The big propellers. They skim along. That's the Everglades. Alligators and all that. In which year were worldwide flights disrupted by the Icelandic volcanic eruptions? And that was in 2010. 2010, exactly 10 years ago. How about that? And it was more or less 10 years ago. Pretty sure it was about April, actually. So there you are, exactly 10 years hence, thence, back. Right, hope you did well there. Some of you may have got all 10. I'm sure no one got none. And if you did, don't worry, because here are the answers to round 2. And that was entertainment. Which Hollywood actress starred in Walk the Line, Wild and Water for Elephants? And the answer to that was the glorious Reese Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon. And number 2, the question was, which Netflix documentary follows Joe Exotic and his fellow big cat owners? And that is the very, very popular Tiger King. Personally, couldn't bring myself to watch it. I don't like that sort of thing. But there you are. That's just me. I'm a bit peculiar. Obviously, because it was hugely successful. Number 3, which One Direction member's second solo album is entitled Fine Line? And that is the great and good Harry Styles. Of course, Harry Styles. Question 4, the TV adaptation of which 2018 novel by Irish writer Sally Rooney has recently been such a success on BBC iPlayer, breaking all the records. And that, of course, is Normal People. Normal People. Okay, question 5. Which singer's second best album is the 4th best-selling album of all time in the UK? Well, I reckon there were 2 options. I was going to go, was it Ed Sheeran or was it Adele? Well, the answer is Adele. Adele is the answer. So, good, well done if you knew that. Number 6, for which film did Leonardo DiCaprio finally get his Oscar in 2016? It was, of course, The Revenant. The Revenant. And stop it, Stephen, really? Number 7, which television presenter recently announced her departure from Celebrity Juice? And that was Holly Willoughby. Holly Willoughby. Holly Willoughby. Question 8. In 2019, Ed Sheeran's Divide Tour became the highest grossing tour of all time. He knocked off the perch there. He knocked off the top spot who had previously held the record, U2. U2, how about that? So Ed Sheeran knocked off U2. Number 9 was about which program did Phoebe Waller-Bridge have executive control over as producer and chief writer? And the answer to that was the magnificent BBC America thriller, Killing Eve. Well done if you got that, Killing Eve. And the final question on the entertainment round was, which director used this bomb theory? He called it the bomb. You must see the bomb, you see it ticking, but the bomb must never go off. That was his great, I believe I'm right. I better check the answer. Yes, it was indeed. So it was my feeble impression of Sir Alfred Hitchcock, the great Hitch. So there you go. Those were the first 2 rounds, and the third round, which was general knowledge, if you remember. Question 1 was about the Cambridge University alumnus who formulated the idea that gravity was a predictable force. It was no trick question. It was pretty clear that it was Sir Isaac Newton, who was also actually a member of Parliament for Cambridge, as it happens, as well as Lucasian Professor of Mathematics in that university. Question 2, what is the name of the green pigment in plants that absorbs light, to help with the business of photosynthesis? And that, I'm sure you knew, was chlorophyll, CHLOROPHYLL, but other spellings are acceptable. I'm sure you know the word chlorophyll. The creator of the fantasy world Narnia, question 3, was C.S. Lewis. And a very extra few rounds of applause, if not points, if you knew that his name was Clive Staples Lewis. There's a middle name for you. Clive Staples Lewis. Question 4. The name of the pasta, or pasta if you're American, which translate to English as butterflies. Farfalle. Farfalle. There you go, to farfalle. Is sometimes called bow ties, but it is, of course, butterflies is the real farfalloni, if you remember the Mozart aria. So, which well-known dance originated in Argentina and Uruguay? Well, it was the tango. There you are. You know when you've done the tango. Number 6, which English naturalist travelled to the Galapagos Islands on HMS Beagle? Again, I bet you knew that it was Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin. And BMW, what does that stand for? Well, we could accept the English, which is Bavarian Motorworks, but feel very proud if you knew that it was Bayerische Motorenwerke. Eek! What the jolly heck happened there? I cut out. Did you just get that last answer? Bayerische Motorenwerke, BMW? I hope so. That was question 8. Question 9, the answer was 1941. What year did America join the Second World War? The year that will live in infamy, as Roosevelt said after the Pearl Harbor bombing. So yeah, that was it. 1941. There we are. And question number 9. The coffee beans. Yeah. What's that fruit? Well, it's referred to as the cherry. The cherry, the coffee cherry. You have the coffee bean and the coffee cherry. So that was that answer to number 9. And number 10, the final question. Which former lady of the United States, which FLOTUS, wrote an autobiography called Unbecoming? And the answer was Michelle Obama, as I'm sure you knew. Good. Well, apart from that little glitch, it's all gone rather well. Those were the answers. Thanks again. My goodness, I hope you did well. Some of you, I'm sure, did incredibly well. Others were maybe disappointed, but I'm sure you can be very proud because apart from anything else, you've supported an incredible charity. So thanks again to everybody. I've had the most brilliant time, and I do hope you've done well with those scores. And before I hand back to Jay, I can reveal that your Friday night takeover host next week will be none other than the wonderful Wassy, Jonathan Ross himself, the man, in the flesh. So do tune in if you can, 8:15, same bat channel, same bat time, etc., etc., etc. One final plea from me, please do consider, if you would, a donation to Alzheimer's Research UK tonight, if you can. Every penny, every single penny makes a difference. As do you. Look after yourselves, stay well, stay cheerful if you can. We'll get through this. All the very best. Lots and lots of love. Over to you, Jay.
Thank you very, very much, Stephen. Apologies for the glitch there in the middle. So the videos were pre-recorded from Stephen. Very, very grateful for him giving up his time for Alzheimer's Research UK and us here at the Virtual Pub Quiz. Excuse me. And obviously I'm recording everything live to go in between. So I don't know quite what happened, but I think there was a bit of a problem with, I think when he came back in, one of the questions was numbered wrong. I think he thought it was a bit further up. So the slides are up on screen, so hopefully you'll be able to work out which one was which. But yeah, so how did you get on? I think I got 17. So I'm going to take that. I'm quite alright with that. So yeah, I think I got 17. But as usual, you know the score. Let us know. Write it on a piece of paper, send it to us on Twitter, Instagram, tag us and tag Alzheimer's Research UK in as well, and let us know how you got on and did you enjoy that. Now, I know, obviously, usual Thursday and Saturday, some of you, if you're playing in your teams, and obviously with it being a big night tonight, you may be wanting a tie break. Unfortunately, we didn't get Stephen to record one, but I've got one prepared for you. So, with Stephen being here, I thought I'd go for a sort of Stephen-related question. How many words are there in the Harry Potter book, The Chamber of Secrets? So how many words are there in the Harry Potter book, The Chamber of Secrets? So I'll give you a quick minute there to have a think about it. Let you sort of think what you want to do. Just scrabbling your answers down. Again, a massive thank you to Stephen for giving up his time for Alzheimer's Research UK. The donation link is there. So it's just up on screen for you. Right, we'll give you another 10 seconds and then I'll give you the answer. 4, 3, 2, If you need a bit more time, you can pause the video. It's not live. Okay, right. The answer is 85,141 words in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. There you go. So if you ever get that come up in a pub quiz, I know a lot of pubs do snowball questions. If that ever comes up, you're laughing. Right, so massive thanks again, let's say, to Stephen. And he did mention at the end of the video that this gentleman's going to be with us next week. I think we should have a word with him, really, shouldn't we?
Evening, everybody. Yes, it's Jonathan Ross here, and as the fabulous Mr. Stephen Fry just announced, it will be me in the Quizmaster's chair for next Friday night's takeover of Jay's virtual pub quiz in support of Alzheimer's Research UK. It won't surprise you, but I'll be hosting an entertainment-themed evening that will span the decade. So start brushing up on your Tarantino and your Gerwig. Make sure you know the difference between Glenda Jackson and Samuel L. Jackson and their oeuvre of work, and of course make sure that you can tell the difference between Peter and Vernon Kay, and that's an easy one for you. You should also dig out your back catalogue of now that's what I call music albums. You might have them on cassette or CD, or if you're an old person or very hip, on vinyl, but give them a listen. There'll be questions from pop music right over the decades and lots of other stuff as well. So make sure you join me back here at the same time. That's 8:15 p.m. next Friday, May the 29th, for the next virtual pub quiz takeover for Alzheimer's Research UK. In the meantime, here's a little bonus question to get you thinking. What links the actors Christopher Eccleston, Bryan Cranston and Samuel L. Jackson? What links Christopher Eccleston, Bryan Cranston and Samuel L. Jackson? Make sure you're here on Friday. I'll give you the answer then. Take care.
That's a question and a half to get you going. I wasn't expecting a question at the end. I thought he was just going to introduce himself for next week. Yeah. I'll have to think about that. I don't know that off the top of my head. But yeah, massive thanks again. So Jonathan Ross will be joining the Virtual Pub Quiz channel next Friday night for the Alzheimer's Research UK takeover, which is absolutely fantastic. Lovely to have him on board. So yeah, looking forward to that. Not quite sure who Alzheimer's Research are going to pull out for week 3. They've not told me yet, but Stephen Fry, Jonathan Ross. I'm going to have to go some to try and find someone to beat that. As always then, really from me, it's a massive thank you very much, as always. Thank you for supporting the channel, thank you for supporting the quizzes, thank you to all the community and everything on Facebook. Thank you for your donations towards charities, to Alzheimer's Research. The link should be, there we go, that one. So the text to donate and everything is on screen. And yeah, I can't really express my thanks any more than I already am. Massive thanks to Alzheimer's Research UK for all the hard work that they've put in to the quizzes that they've done on the Friday nights. And obviously, as I say, Stephen Fry and Jonathan Ross, thank you very much for them giving up their time for the quiz this week and next week. As always, join us live on Thursday night for the big quiz of the week. Live Thursday nights, always watched by over 170,000 people, and obviously a Guinness World Record channel, Guinness World Record quiz. We're live again on Saturdays as well, don't forget. We still do it at the same time as we do on a Thursday, so we go live at 7:50 p.m. and then the live stream starts at 8:15. Specialist quizzes all the way through the week, so Sunday to Wednesday we have a specialist quiz. So Sunday evening, Monday with the kids quiz, and then Tuesday and Wednesday evenings with friends quiz on Tuesday evenings and other ones, specialist quizzes around that. So yeah, lots going on, lots to get involved in, and obviously Alzheimer's Research UK will be back again same time next week. Don't forget, let us know how you got on our social media. All of the links are down below in the description. If you are new around here, please do subscribe. As I say, all those videos, all those things we've got coming up, loads and loads of quizzes. So if you really do like your quizzes, come and join us. We're having some great fun over here at the moment. A lot of you are probably already subscribed, but if you haven't, do hit that subscription, the subscribe button, and then you'll get a notification when we go live on a Thursday night, when the next Alzheimer's Research UK takeover video goes up, so you won't miss a thing from us. All that's left for me really is to say thanks again, stay safe, donations up there, and we'll see you all soon. Stay safe, take care.